1, 2, recording.
Hi, welcome. This week's Rookie and Jackie. We're on to week 15, and this week we're talking about near misses. So I read on Rookie's Instagram page earlier this week that her son had unfortunately been out to eat and had an unfortunate experience. Do you want to tell us what happened, Rookie?
Yeah, it's been over Instagram, LinkedIn and Facebook. I've put it everywhere. So this was the first time that we'd been out to eat since lockdown last year. We went to a pub that we'd been to the week before lockdown started that my son had said, can we go back to? So, you know, if he says, let's go back to it, I'm all for it. Sat down, told the waitress that Nathan's got an allergy. And I said, could he have the burger with chips and bacon? It came with other stuff. And I said, can we take that away and just put that? Can you check with the chef that that's all right? She came back, said it was fine. So we all ordered. And then the food came out. And as the food was coming out, I noticed that the waitress was holding Nathan's dairy free food in the same hand, you know, like waitresses do with the two plates on their arms. And she had my husband's hunter chicken, which is chicken basically smothered in cheese, on the same arm. And I didn't say anything. I was like, right, okay. So we all ate, nothing happened. He was absolutely fine. And then at 9:30, so we ate at 6:30, 9:30, comes into the room and says, I'm having a reaction. And he's hoarse, he's wheezing, he's got a rash all over him, and he's just itching. You know, I don't know if you've ever had a reaction, but if you've ever had a reaction, you literally want to scratch your skin off. It's so itchy. So he had a Piriton, and his next words for me were, I don't ever want to eat out again. So he said, it happens so often, Mum, I just don't want to do it anymore. So I was like, right, this obviously has happened before, you know, it doesn't happen too often, but it does happen. And I've never reported it before. And I've never written back to them and said, you know, this is what's happened. And I did this time. I got an email back from them, and they said about the training that they'd done. They said all the other things, and they kind of said that it wasn't their fault. They'd done everything they needed to. And they tried to blame it on my husband's chicken. Like they said that, you know, the fact that my husband had this meal was the reason that Nathan, and it had been in close proximity to my son, that was why he'd had a reaction. So, you know, that shows a total lack of understanding of reactions, because if my husband had, you know, kissed my son on the cheek or something, he'd have had a reaction on his cheek at that point, but it wouldn't cause him to wheeze or be really itchy all over and all those kind of things. So, you know, and I thought back to the things that, you know, all the things that could have gone wrong. And there were so many points that in the process it could have gone wrong. But I do think it was the waitress bringing out the food. I think she must have touched the plate with the hunter's chicken on it, and, you know, touched the other plate that had the dairy-free food on it. Or, you know, the plates weren't washed correctly, or even things like too many chips on one plate. You know, people kind of redistribute food in kitchens and things. You think if you take one from a plate that's got dairy on it and move it over to a plate that hasn't, you know, you've cross-contaminated it. Mm-hmm. So we're now at this position where we obviously will never go back there again. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know where we go. I need to now try and not make Nathan, but kind of find a place that we can go that we know is going to be safe. But it really does feel like every time we go out to eat, we are taking his life into somebody, giving, you know, his life to someone else to say, feed him and do it well. And it's the thing that I find, the reason I started my business was because this happens, and I wanted to make sure that people could come to me, tell me what was wrong, and I would keep them safe. So it's gutting to me that this happened. And I'll stop there.
Oh gosh, yeah, poor Nathan. It's really, really awful for him, because they should know what to do. The frustrating thing is they should know what to do, and his anxiety levels will be through the roof now.
Yes.
And you know, when I do training, I talk about each pinch point from delivery to storage to preparation. And actually, when I talk about serving the customer, whether it's a school or whether it's a restaurant or whatever it is, I demonstrate and I say, don't be manual, don't carry plates up and down your arm. And I kind of stand there in front of the class and say, don't do this. And I say to them, if somebody's got an allergen request, you take the order from the chef and you take it one plate at a time, because all that good work that's been done beforehand to make sure that plate is, you know, free of the allergens as required, it can be spoilt at the stage, as you said, you know, and, you know, your confidence levels have dipped, and Nathan's not wanting to go out anymore when they could have got it so right, particularly as he's been before and he enjoyed it last time. And that's such a shame. So, you know, near misses are really important. And I was just speaking before with Caroline, because we've got a campaign that she's pushing forward probably later on this year in September, October, where we want to kind of report near misses, because rather than brush them under the carpet and send it back and say it's your fault because your husband had hunter's chicken, no, actually, they need to take responsibility. And this could have been so much worse. As we've said, it was bad enough for him, but could have been so much worse. So rather than emailing back a list of reasons of the things they have done, yes, we've done training, tick, 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 and then saying, well, your husband might have been in close proximity to your son, that's not very fair. Instead, they should take it back and say, this is a learning curve. Perhaps at the point of service, you know, we need to have a procedure where the waiter waitress takes only one plate at a time, and it's a learning. But we don't know how many instances there are of near misses, because people tend to report food poisoning, but they don't tend to report food allergen incidents unless it's very severe. And we need to get a bigger picture as to how much this is happening, rather than it's just brushed under the carpet, ignored, or we just cope with it. You know, like you do, you've had to cope with it. Whereas it could be valuable learning for that company. So whether we kind of get this list together and people kind of anonymise the reports, so that there's not a blame culture that this restaurant does this, that and the other. It's about a whole coming together and learning of mistakes.
I think that would be really useful.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's
because the numbers obviously are increasing.
Yeah, it's just, you think about, if you find a place that is really good, you will become such a loyal customer of theirs. You know, there is a fast food chain that we go to absolutely frequently because they are so good, and we've never, touch wood, we've never had an incident there, so we will always go back there. But places like that, I will now tell people not to go there. I mean, I don't want to name and shame, but you know, if someone says let's go there, I'll be like, absolutely no way, because there's no way that I want to do that. So you get a loyal following by being good to your customers and keeping them safe.
Absolutely, and because I was talking before about one of my clients who went through the allergen accreditation scheme, and I provided training for them, and they changed some of their procedures, and they so want to be that restaurant where people come to them if they've got an allergy, and they want to make them feel welcome and comfortable and safe. So their procedure is that when the customers come in and sit down, they will automatically say, does anybody have an allergy we need to know about? And if somebody said yes, then okay, fine, what's your allergy? They'll take the details and say, right, okay, before we proceed any further, they'll clear the table of any cutlery, because it's a pub restaurant, they have condiments and they have cutlery in the kind of little pots on the table.
Yeah.
So they take all of them away on a tray, they wash the table, and then they bring back freshly washed cutlery and set it out at the table. So this is just come from the dishwasher, you know, and whilst that's happening, the customers visibly relax. Oh, first of all, they're taking good care of us, you know, and we're being welcomed, and we're not being, you know, seen as that awkward customer.
It's great.
And
I think
great it's amazing.
Definitely one to learn from, isn't it?
I mean, I was saying before that it must be the week for kind of incidents, because my morning started off this morning with a message from Sophie on a WhatsApp, which started off by saying I've been attacked. So as I was looking at it a bit further down the WhatsApp, by gluten, I've been glutenized. So she's not well, and is having a duvet day, apart from she's going to go out and exercise her right to vote, because as a politics student, she can't stay in bed.
No, that would be bad.
The rest of the day she's been under a duvet, but she's in a shared kitchen, and one of them doesn't quite get it. So every now and again, it's you know, this friend of hers is in the house, and she does try to explain, try the best, but there are incidences of cross-contamination, which ends up with Sophie in bed. So
And I do understand that it's not, no one is perfect. We're not perfect, but it is all about learning from every mistake that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So if restaurants and pubs, I will always complain now. This is the first time I've ever written back and said, look, this has happened. I don't know why I've never done it before, but I've never done it before. So I will definitely do that, and I think everyone should do that. It would be really good. It'd be great if we had one place that we could go to and actually not complain, but say this has happened here, and then for it, like you say, to be counted and noted and learnt from. But we're not quite there yet, I don't think, are we?
No, I think there's kind of that blame culture, or that kind of, it wasn't me kind of, or an excuse where actually a mistake has been made. They're lucky it wasn't worse. They're lucky you haven't taken it further. And it's a learning curve for them, because now they've lost your custom.
Yeah.
And your customer friends and any contacts that ask about that particular restaurant, you won't recommend them. So it's a lost opportunity. It's
Absolutely.
a shame.
I think people are afraid of being sued, aren't they? So there is a very much it wasn't me, I didn't do anything, I did everything right, rather than oh, okay, we'll take that as a learning point and we'll make sure it doesn't happen again. So
what just made me laugh, and it's happened a few times, is when things like this have happened and the company has said, oh, we're really sorry, we'll accept responsibility, here's some vouchers. And I find it quite funny, because
why would you want to go back there? Yeah, exactly.
This time I'm not sure I want to go back and have the vouchers, but thanks anyway.
Yeah, thanks for the thought.
Not sure what the answer is, but giving vouchers, we didn't do a good enough job this time, come back, we'll try again.
Yeah, great, be our guinea pig. No thanks, no, absolutely not.
I'm sure there must be a way to, or perhaps even to invite you into the conversation.
Well, when I wrote the letter, I said, look, I deal with this on a daily basis. This is my work, and I didn't want to make it sound like I wanted to be paid for going in. I was like, I'd literally love to come up and have a conversation, see what you guys do, and see if there is anything that is obvious that we can talk about. But no, they didn't want to do that.
No.
Which
when Sophie previously was made poorly, when she went to Oxford University, actually, on a week of summer school, one of the colleges she stayed at got it very wrong, and she had to come home. She was very sick for the rest of the week, and they did do a full investigation and sent me the reports, and actually it was their online hospitality reporting booking form, where I'd provided all the information, but it only carried forward some of her allergies, which at that time she had more than she has now.
Wow.
So only half of them carried forward. And gluten hadn't been given to the chef as one of her intolerances, and she's severely intolerant to gluten. So
that's crazy.
I think she has, so only half. I think she had 6 or 7 at the time. I think 3 or 4 have been sent forward on the report to the chef. And
wow.
The important ones have been left off. So that was a system failure, technical failure. But it could have been so much worse.
I think gluten, that's it.
She was very sick. But the result of that actually was that she chose not to move away to university. Her sentence was, I'm not going to be away from home anymore because I need to know where my bed is. And she chose to stay in Manchester.
Which is a real shame.
Yeah. So there you go.
Affects lots of things.
It does. So glad he's feeling better. And let's hope that his anxiety reduces and that you will be able to go out and eat somewhere soon.
Yeah, I do hope so. And actually, it's not just his anxiety. I feel guilty as hell that we went there and that this happened to him. So it's our anxiety as well, which we try not to project on him. But yes, hopefully we will find somewhere else to go and it will be fine. That will make it better.
Yeah, I hope so. So that's our chat for this week. If you've got any comments or feedback, or have you had any near misses, we'd be interested to know, how do you report them? Do you think it's a good idea to report them, and how should we do this? So we'll look forward to hearing your comments in the link below. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.